Wow. So I just got finished playing Control on PC, and oh my gosh, what a great game. We're going to go over some of the good, bad, ugly, and great today. And man, there is a lot of good and a lot of great about this game. Overall, it's just absolutely so interesting, so great to play. It's a story that you will fall in love with and you will want to play. You want to continue to play and you won't want to stop. Some of the good, the enemies were very good, very interesting enemies, and I just wanted maybe a little bit more variety. The enemies that were there were done very well. There was different types of enemies still, but with a story and world this open, you could definitely have more enemies. So an open world, it's kind of an open world where you can go wherever you want and everything like that. You can go do this activity or you can do that activity, and then follow this main story how you want. But trust me, you will want to follow the main story to see where it goes. The weapons are another good thing. When you hit someone, you feel it. You can definitely tell that it made an impact on someone else. So you have basically a gravity weapon. Weapon of power, they call a object of power. So you basically have one weapon the entire time, but you will fall in love with this weapon, and it has different modes you can set it in. Maybe just a few more weapons, especially in a world that is set in, would be pretty cool to have. Even just a few extra ones, like a alien laser or something. Come on, man. It's something from another dimension, please. And you don't think about it. You don't think about it when you're playing it. You're like, oh man, this is a cool upgrade. But the weapons are really good and great gameplay with the weapons. So the ultra-wide support, just phenomenal. I'm so happy to have an ultra-wide monitor. Thank the Lord. It makes this game just so awesome. This is one of those games where you're like, you would want to buy an ultra-wide monitor to play this game. Alright, some of the bad. It's kind of a little bit like a looter shooter, not really. I mean, you go around finding all these boxes to upgrade your weapons and things like that. I've never been a fan of that. Never been a fan of, there's all these random boxes, that you have to kind of loot to find. Maybe one or two, you're like, open a one or two chests here to find some cool weapons. But this, you just find redundant weapon upgrades or different materials to upgrade your weapon. I honestly don't like that game aspect, and I just don't like it in any game, really. Just having to go around and me having to open up a bunch of boxes. That's just unuseful game time that I could be doing something else. Maybe just purchase it, okay? If I complete a mission, just give me all that stuff. I don't want to have to go around and walk around the world and just, because I often find myself a lot in here just running around to each individual corner looking for, a box, a glowing box of light, a light that shows me where a box is. I don't want to do that. I just want to explore the world and maybe like, okay, I'll go into this corner if there's something interesting to go over. But that's one of the bad things, and I wish the games would cut that stuff out. Okay? Another bad is that it's a little bit scary if you don't like horror games. If you don't like horror games and stuff, which I personally don't like horror games. It's not too scary, but it's definitely suspenseful. It's a little bit scary. Some of the enemies are a little bit scary. It's nothing too scary, but it is a little scary. I guess that's a bad thing if you don't like that. So, there's no really outfits. You get like 3 in the game, and not very much customization. I'd like to maybe see a little bit more. It's not horrible. The outfits that are there are pretty cool. I mean, they fit the theme really well, and it doesn't really make sense for there to be customization, especially in the story. But it would be nice to have a little bit more. Yeah, just a little bit more choice, I think, for the customization. is always good. The game is kind of short. That's the only other bad thing. Solid 12 hours, and then another 12 hours if you do like all the side missions and stuff. It definitely could have been a lot longer, but what was there was definitely quality. Some of the ugly now. So the only ugly thing about this game is that it is hard on your system. It is hard on your PC. And you know, you definitely want some ray tracing in there. So I have an RTX 2060, which is a pretty good card, and it was tough to get 60 frames per second, and I think on medium settings. So if you have something later, especially without ray tracing, you may not even want to get this game or buy this game now and wait until you upgrade your graphics card, because this game is one of those games that you want to purchase or have a good graphics card when you play. Okay, some of the great things about this game, and there are a ton of great things about this game. From the first training session, it is absolutely beautiful. You will be drawn into this world, and you will want to play it all throughout in one sitting. Okay, you are just going to be drawn into this world. You're going to be drawn into the character and to the story, because it is so vast, and so detailed and just absolutely awesome. It is a absolutely quality, simple, and totally interesting game. It's definitely balanced between funny and scary. Okay, so it's a good balance, right? It has a little bit of scariness in there, but it has some funny to back it up. Right? There's a lot of funny parts in it too. Okay, which is important in a kind of scary-ish game, right? Very important to have that balance. But the quality of everything that is done from the game, from the guns, the weapons, to the world that is built around it, to the characters that are being portrayed, the acting is awesome, just awesome in every character. I don't think I've had a problem with any character. And the main character is great. It was just like, oh man, what's next? What else can I get to do and see? Like, where else is this gonna take me? You know, that's what you want in a game. Where I'm in this world. Where else are you gonna take me? What else am I gonna get to do? The sci-fi world that it is. I'm a sci-fi lover, big sci-fi lover. You know, ever since I was watching X-Files with my dad, and just it hits the mark. It hits the mark for sci-fi, and even from the little files that you pick up. So you go around and pick up a lot of, you can pick up a lot of source files. You don't have to. You can pick up a lot of source files and details, and then you can go into your menu and then you can read every single thing. So there was a few that I read, and oh my gosh, they're so hilarious. There was one like about a rubber ducky where one of the agents took the rubber ducky and studied it, to see if there's any changes or anything like that, and just some of the. And there was another like a report. It was just like a travel report and telling like every little thing that this guy did in his travel or purchased in his travel and everything like that. It's just absolutely hilarious, some of the things that go on. And there, as you walk through the world, there's these videos that they show you that are perfectly matched with the story that's going on, right? And they kind of tell you the story that's going on, and the way they do it, it's just like you walk into and you click on a projector, a slide projector, and it takes you through a slide projector. And then they have just hilarious things that I won't spoil for you. This is that you've got to see for yourself. So it's just a great sci-fi world. I could not tell you how many fire extinguishers I just went around and shot. And literally, you can pick up almost anything in this world Everything, a lot of the things are destructible. No wonder it is so hard on your system, because so many things are destructible in this world, or able to be picked up. It's so much fun to play. And the controls. Here's what this game sets a mark for me as far as control schemes. And I think what they did as far as limiting, they limited a lot of fluff. Okay? The controls are simple, and there is no repeating controls from what I've seen. And it was immediately apparent. I was not trying to click something, and then I would accidentally do something else. So please, look at this game going forward. Every game developer, look at this game going forward as far as controls are concerned. Because there's a lot of repeat controls out there in games, and it makes it harder to play and just less enjoyable. So I just played this on an Xbox controller, and the controls were so simple that there was no repeats. Huge detail. Mission explanations and navigations were very good to me. The progression, it takes you through. As you're going on a mission, you can see in your map, where that mission is, where the next step is, and then as you get to that location, it'll show you up in the top left corner, what's the next step for you to do. Another great aspect I thought was good to mention was you kind of start right away. The story laid it out to where you kind of start at an elevated level in a sense, so that way you don't have to do all these minuscule things. You just basically you automatically have your powers, right? You automatically have your powers, and you automatically have your gun. Okay, it didn't take a lot of time for you to do that, to get there. For you to have to build up your powers, you can start right away, and you can pick stuff up and throw it. After the small training session, you learn to do that, and that is another huge thing that a lot of games miss. So starting right away, and the progression is very important in the game. I'm going to compare it to The Last Jedi I played, the Star Wars Last Jedi, where you don't have your Force powers. You don't really get them to do anything fun until about the end of the story. Okay, it takes you that long. And then by the end of it, you're like, oh my gosh, well, the story's over. So I can't have any fun or do anything I can't throw these stormtroopers anywhere, This is like Star Wars on steroids. This game is phenomenal, okay? Because you can literally take up anything. You can pick up a chair, you can pick up a canister, or you can pick up a fork truck and throw it at somebody eventually. So this is like Force powers times 100, all right? It makes a huge deal that you can have your powers right away at the beginning of the game. It makes it so much more fun to play because, oh my gosh, I hated it. I just wanted to take the stormtroopers and throw them, okay? That's all I wanted to do in the Star Wars game. That's all I wanted to do. I wanted to throw them and slice them and stuff like that. But it took you so stinking long to get there. I hope in the next Star Wars game they improve that. And then you start out with your powers. Okay? Oh, we get another expansion. Oh, yes. So this new expansion was just announced for this game. It's called Awe, and we'll do a review on that too. So stay tuned. Quick review. So the good, definitely, the open world, the enemies and the weapons. Some of the bad was a little short, and a little bit lacking on customization, and some of the ugly. Only ugly was that it was a little bit hard on your system. And man, there's so many such a quality game. It was simple, interesting, balanced, funny. Just the sci-fi world they did, and then the destructible environments, and the fact that you can pick up anything and throw it. And geez, just go around and shoot fire extinguishers, every single one, and see what they do. And there's so many things to explode, so it's just so much fun to play. So I hope you play it too, and I'll catch you in the next review. Thanks.